Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Cider Pop Central. It's been a hot minute since I've done an Alska Cider Pop review for the channel, so here's another one. Seriously, how many flavours of these have they actually released? I mean, it must be coming up to double figures by this point, but yes, they are still churning out the flavours. And today I have a big old can of their Guava, Kiwi and Lime Cider Pop. All the green coloured fruits, I suppose you could say. Well, I mean, guava's pink inside, but green on the outside. So yeah, once again, Aldi was the supermarket that I got this from. I have noticed that Alska have decided to veer away from the small 330ml cans, and they now all kind of come in these 440ml cans or 500ml bottles, as you'll see in the future. Yes, I still have more flavours of those to try afterwards, so watch this space. What I will say is that since they've gone on to the 440ml cans and 500ml bottles, the quality's kind of gone down a little bit, because if you've watched my previous reviews, you'll know that actually these are one of the more decent cider pop companies out there. They're actually not that bad, but the last couple I've had in these big cans haven't been as good, and they seem to be cutting corners a little bit more again. I don't know whether that's because they've changed the recipes or whatever, but yeah, they tend to not have been as good. But we'll see what I make of this one. Guava, Kiwi and Lime. Now, I've had Guava and Kiwi sort of before, but not in a cider pop. Not huge fan of kiwi as a fruit in itself, but well, we'll see how it transforms into a cider pop. So they're vegan friendly, premium cider, because you know you got to have the buzzwords on there, and as usual 4% ABV, standard stuff really. Let's see, it contains sulfites for freshness, guava, kiwi and lime flavoured apple cider. So that's always good to know, it's an apple cider, because sometimes, like Copperberg, it's a pear cider base rather than apple. And it does, I think it contains ingredients, yes, apple cider, natural flavours, and sugar. Oh, I mean, that's one of the things that sort of elevates this above other cider pops, is that it does contain natural flavours, but then of course they add sugar into the mix, so it kind of detracts from that, but good to see actual natural flavours rather than syrups and whatnot being added in. Looking at you, brothers. Anyway, enough rambling, let's get this can open. I'm going to imagine I'm going to be able to smell it before I even get my nose up to the glass, but we'll see. So let's get it poured out. Of course, there's going to be absolutely zero sediment in here, so I'm not even going to entertain that prospect. Right, you can sit over there, and let's just go in for a quick colour look. Quite heavily carbonated, as you can see, pretty much like all the rest of Alska's range. And, well, from where I'm looking, the colour is a very light straw colour. Nearly transparent, not quite, but obviously completely filtered down, totally clear. Looks pretty much like the rest of their range. Some of them have been a lot lighter in colour as well. So, well, we'll see. What does it smell like? Strange. It's kind of a nondescript sort of aroma there. I wouldn't say that it's guava or kiwi, and as usual with cider pops that list lime in the description, no hint of lime. You know, strawberry and lime, blueberry and lime. Just take the lime out. There's no point in having it, really. Yeah, I would not say that smells of guava or kiwi. It smells more of like honeydew melon and peach. You sure they've not just packaged the peach and honeydew melon flavour in here instead? I don't know, but it really does smell exactly like that one. Obviously, I've done a review of that. You can check it out on the card. Oh well, let's see what it tastes like, shall we? Cheers, everyone. When will Alska stop doing flavours? Well, no time soon. Cheers. Quite big carbonation there, but not like really overly carbonated like a couple of other ciders I've had before. No instant cloying up. That is utterly bizarre. This tastes basically exactly like the peach and honeydew melon flavour that I did a few weeks ago. Which technically isn't a bad thing because it doesn't taste bad. I would say this is medium bodied. It's definitely not thick and syrupy like some of the other cider pops that I've reviewed. And yeah, despite it having sugar added into it, there is a very, very slight cloying sensation, but not overly so. I'm just trying to think, does this taste of guava, kiwi and lime? Definitely not getting any lime again as per usual. But overall, it's not a bad flavour. It's not a bad flavour at all. I still stand by my statement that Alska ciders are generally some of the better cider pops you can get on the supermarket shelves. And you can get them from Aldi, and they're usually relatively cheap. When you talk about like Copperberg and Recordedly charging £2.50, maybe even £3 for a bottle, and then you go to Aldi and you can get a can like this for £1.49, it's a no-brainer really. Go for these ones. I would say they are so much better. Yes, they are probably still infested with sugar. Yes, they're obviously still a cider pop, but they are better. And this is no exception. It's nicely drinkable. It's a good summer cider pop. Obviously, real cider enthusiasts aren't even going to touch this with not even a 10-foot barge pole, probably more like a 100-foot barge pole. But you kind of know that already going into this. But if you like this sort of stuff, you're going to like this. It's a good flavour. Would I say it tastes of guava and kiwi and lime? No. It does taste more like the peach and the honeydew melon, but that was a rather enjoyable one as well. So, final taste before final verdict. I suppose on the back end there is a very subtle citric twang behind it, obviously from the lime, but as an actual flavour, I feel that lime doesn't really add to anything. It just sort of gives a little twang to it, I suppose. Yeah, there is nothing wrong with this at all. I would actually, if I went into a pub and it just had the usual sort of fare, but it had an Alska cider on instead of other cider pops, I'd be like, yeah, I would get it again. Well, these are sort of turning into a sort of a guilty pleasure sort of thing, really. I know there's going to be a lot of people out there that are going to enjoy this, and, you know, rightly so. Vegan friendly, natural flavours, definitely puts it a step above some of the other cider pops out there. So I have had a couple of dodgy ones from Alska, but generally I have been pleasantly surprised by them. So there you go. What can I say? If you have an Aldi near you and you see these Alska ciders and you like these sorts of things, then I would say, yeah, give them a go. They are definitely more on the refreshing side, nice flavours, and they don't fill your mouth with sugary, syrupy crap. That's got to be a bonus, hasn't it? So, actually, with that said, I'm going to go and give Alska's Guava, Kiwi and Lime a 7 out of 10. Now, I want to point out the fact, one of my long-time subscribers, Gary Gardner, he commented on my last video in that, have my ratings changed a little bit over the years? I mean, generally, yes, they have. Obviously, I've had many hundreds of ciders now, and looking back, clearly my tastes have developed and changed over the years, but as you can clearly see, I'm always totally unbiased with my reviews and everything, and I suppose if you want to split my ratings into two sorts, like one rating for cider pops and mass-produced ciders and the others for like real ciders, you can do that. That's fair enough. So if you want to gauge, say if I gave this an 8 out of 10, if you want to say that that was a 4 out of 10 in real cider standards, then so be it. You know, as you know, I'm totally unbiased with my reviews. You always get, this is the beauty of reviewing, you never know what you're going to get with these sorts of things, and as is shown, there are some genuinely nice, mass-produced and cider pops out there. On the flip side, there's also some really crud proper ciders from proper producers that I've had, but all personal preference, isn't it? So there you go. That is the beauty of reviewing. And well, with that said, that's another episode of the Cider Pop Central for you guys. I hope you liked it, and as usual, I'll be back with another delicious and tasty cider soon. Until then, I am really trying to stifle in the belch here, so I am going to go before I let loose on screen. Take care, guys. Till next time.